So the purpose of today's webinar is to talk about how Google ranks websites and the basic needs for SEO in 2013 and beyond. And this is really a prerequisite that I added for some upcoming webinars, a series that we're doing for florists that's going to talk about some of these things, including website SEO, SEO for social media, Google Plus, all those other types of things will be coming down the pipe shortly, starting next week with a webinar called Are You Getting SEO Benefit from Your Facebook Posts? So the reason I've added this one fairly quickly before that started was to kind of answer the why before getting into the details and give people a little bit of an explanation as to what Google's thinking and how to go about doing better in there before even attacking social media and other things like that. And why Google and not Bing, Yahoo, other search engines. And it's basically, it's said that Google has about 85% market share. So in order to have a focused 30-minute webinar, I want to just focus on one of them, and Google is the one that we need to focus on the most. And for this presentation, I'll be speaking in fairly broad generalities, and for the most part, we're going to pretend that social media really doesn't exist, and this is really just going to be about organic search and websites. We'll get to some of those things later, and we'll try and get it done in 30 minutes. So moving on, I just wanted to introduce myself briefly. I'm Dwayne McLennan. My company is called Dragonfly Net Solutions. I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and I've been doing internet marketing basically since around 2008. You can find me on Twitter at DwaynerMB, and for those of you who haven't been to my blog, it's called Dragonfly Local Search, and that's at www.dflocal.com. Some of you may not know also that my wife is a flower shop owner, so I'm sort of a co-owner and marketing manager of Dragonfly Flowers here in Winnipeg. And I'm the SEO partner of Epic Flowers, who's a website provider for the florist industry. And Brandon Kirkland is actually on the line as well. He's going to help me moderate and flag anything as I go here from Epic Flowers. So you can say hi, Brandon, if you like. I guess not. I think his mic went off. Anyway, we'll keep going. So if you have any questions, please feel free to use the AnyMeeting chat function that you'll see at the left. I've got my email open on my other window. You can email me at dwayne@dflocal.com during the presentation. There will be time allotted at the end to go over questions as they come in. Anything urgent, I'll respond to immediately. Oops. So first of all, what exactly is search engine optimization? So this definition that you see here is kind of the super internet geek speak for what search engine optimization is. And the definition of it seems to constantly be changing. Even since 2008, the definition has been gone from basic SEO. A lot of people have called it internet marketing, inbound marketing. In 2012, if you Googled it right now, you would see a lot about content marketing. And so that's basically how things have gone over time. Which is why I like to look at the definition that you see here, which really does say it well, although it's a lot to take in. The other way you can talk about it is tricks to get your website thingy found better, and that's basically the way we're going to look at the rest of this presentation is kind of from that level, and try not to get into any of the industry jargon or anything like that. So that from here on out, we're basically going to talk about getting your website ranked better in Google, which is kind of the end result of search engine optimization. So what do I really believe about search engine optimization is that it's really power to the people. SEO is a very tiny slice of power given to the people by what some may call the Google gods. And because Google's a revenue-driven organization, they're basically doing a lot. You look at the search engine results, it's cluttered up with ads, and you'll see all kinds of different things. And over time, they change up what those look like depending on what market you're talking about, what type of product you're looking for, if you're looking for a local business or not. You'll see all kinds of different types of results. And the small chink in Google's armor, uh, as they try to provide uh, themselves with that revenue, is that they still have to provide relevant organic results. And those organic results are basically the ones that show up on the left side, um, where you're looking, not the paid ads that show up on the top and the right side. Local florists, in my mind, have a particularly good opportunity to develop a presence via internet marketing and SEO general. We're going to talk about some of that as we go on. So here's that opportunity for organic results. Internet marketers often talk about how cluttered this is, and certain results that in blue we've got highlighted the pay-per-click ads, and in red is basically the organic results where you've got maps. And basically what we've got here is a blended listing that shows some maps results and some purely organic results. But even as these get larger, sometimes you see that top blue box get quite large and take up about half the page in a search engine result. Still, people are clicking 80% of the time on the organic results, and that's where the opportunity is, and why SEO is just absolutely so important. Not saying that pay-per-click isn't important, but with 80%, if you've got a limited budget and limited time, with 80% of the traffic going to this area, it's a place where you certainly want to focus. And the opportunity here is that even in the last probably 24 months, Google has changed up even more so to go more hyper-local. They're really going towards, when there's a location-specific keyword like Denver or Winnipeg or Chicago or New York, they're providing much more local results. And what this has done is sort of pushed out the big brands and pushed out some of the directories that used to show up in here. Even back in 2010, 2009, you would see a lot more directories showing up in these listings. Now it's pretty much purely local business that shows up in these searches. So they've done some good things, really good things for local business. You typically don't want to rank for the term something as generic as florist anyway, unless you've got a big wire out business and you're trying to do that that type of thing. But it's going to be extremely difficult competing against those big boys. So for the small guys, you can get yourself ranking for your town florist or florist in your town, flower delivery in your town, those kinds of things. And very quickly on, when you look at it this way, that all of those clicks, there is some spam in these results, particularly in the maps listings. I don't see them very often. I do see them sometimes in my own market here with Dragonfly Flowers, but it used to get me quite uptight, but it doesn't really bother me that much anymore. I mean, you can't focus on fake shops and deceptive listings in the pay-per-click ads and things like that. What you can focus on is what you can control, and just looking at your own business needs and let them take themselves into the dark abyss over time, and karma will eventually get them. So moving on from the opportunity, let's look at what Google is actually thinking. So this image here on the left side is from Google's own website on how Google search works. And it's quite old, but it really hasn't changed that much over time. They're basically looking for keywords, quality, and authority. And we'll talk about each one of those things briefly. So looking at quality, they're looking for higher quality content, and they're going to rank quality content higher. They're also looking for quality signals like PageRank. Quality also means unique. They're looking and comparing billions and billions of pages to each other. They're looking for any duplication, and they'll actually drop duplicates from the index, and the terms that they're using are taken into context. So that quality is basically quite a few things wound together. I like to break them out into authority, keywords, and quality. You could put authority and quality together. You could actually mix keywords into quality as well. But basically what they're looking at from a quality standpoint is, do people find that web page or website to be of high quality? And they track hundreds of different factors to determine what that quality is. Now I mentioned about PageRank, and it's listed here, so I thought we would talk about that a little bit. And this is part of the PageRank algorithm that Google has, so I thought we'd maybe talk about that for a few minutes, or probably not. But those types of formulas is what Google uses. They use what's called algorithms, and those algorithms are completely automated with a few exceptions, and they're basically going out, finding all these different pages on the websites, bringing them back in, and then once they get them, they run these algorithms on them, and those algorithms now can determine the page rank of a website. So pages are ranked on 1 to 10 in Google as far as PageRank goes. So a PageRank 9 site, you'd think that it was the case, but Google is actually not a PageRank 10. It's pretty much impossible to get to PageRank 10. As you get closer to the top of this pyramid, it gets harder and harder and harder to get to the next number. So it might be 10 times as hard to go from PageRank 1 to 2, 10 times as hard as it was to get to 2 to go to 3. So it's kind of on a scale like that. So if you're a florist, and you'll be anywhere in the range from page 1 to 4. I have seen a couple entities that have reached the PageRank 5 level as far as local florist websites, but it's quite the anomaly, and good for them that they were able to do that. Just as a comparison, FTD Pro Flowers, 1-800 Flowers, they're also in the PageRank 5 and 6 type of areas, which is why they rank where they do for different searches in the floral industry. Okay, so very simplified, a high PageRank site will have lots of high quality sites linking in, and they will have few poor quality sites linking in. Or the converse of that, a low PageRank site may have lots of low PageRank sites and low quality sites linked to them, which keeps the PageRank quite low. And I've spoken more about this than I actually wanted to, so I'm going to move on. So just so you know that's there. Google does look at each website individually, and actually each page on a website individually, and gives it a rank as to its quality. Moving on to something a little bit more fun, keywords. So you'll see that each of these different little highlight bubbles that they've put on here will kind of go through authority, quality, and keywords on each one of them. So first of all, looking at the two on the right, more relevant and less relevant, that's really going to be towards keywords. It's also going to be towards quality as to the sites that are relevant linking into that website. So they're looking at keywords from the standpoint of, what is this document really about? And what are the sites linking into this document about? If you're a florist and you've got a ton of links from a bunch of websites that talk about automobiles, even if you had hundreds and hundreds of links, there really isn't any relevancy there. And they look at exactly who's linking to you and compare that to what's going on your actual site. They look at how often the keyword is used on the site, and within reason, the keywords mentioned, actually just this past year, they've started hitting people with over optimization for keywords. And the quick tidbit on that is between 3 and 5 times is probably the max that you want to put the same keyword on the website. But they also look at how each page within the website relates to each other. So you may have a highly qualified web page that's got the term Gerbera daisies on it, but Google's also looking at the rest of your website. Is Gerbera daisies mentioned throughout this website? And then they look at the location on the page, and this is really on-page search engine optimization that we talk about there. Is the term just randomly in the document? If it's just sitting there somewhere in the document, really not that relevant. But if it's placed in the headline of the article or the product, is it in the title tag? That's the title of the article that shows up in your web browser. Is it in the URL? Is it actually in the link florist.com/Gerbera daisies? That does have an impact. Or is it in all of the above? If it's in all of the above, then Google will find this to be a highly relevant site or page to that term. So Google is a reader and determines exactly what a site's about by reading. Here's a couple of examples that I wanted to show you of just how Google's doing that. And I get to guinea pig my wife's website because that's sort of my testing ground for all the things that I've done over the years. So this is keywords in action. And so firstly, looking at the image on the left, I've just Googled dozen colored roses in Winnipeg, and you see that the site ranks very well for that. Not only for the actual product page that we've got a dozen mixed colored roses on, but a couple of other pages that were created to drive traffic to that. In this case, we ran a colored rose sale 2 times throughout this year. But you can see that those pages, with the addition of the product pages, created really nice relevancy for that site using those keywords, those ones in particular. So what you can look at here is I want to briefly touch on long tail. And dozen colored roses Winnipeg would be a long tail keyword, which is a keyword that would be 3 or 5, between 3 and 5 or more search terms. A short tail keyword would be just the term roses, which is not a term that you want to rank for. Typically, or colored roses, you want to rank for colored roses Chicago. That's kind of the zone that you're looking at, is those 3 to 4 keyword terms. I think for colored roses Winnipeg, Dragonfly ranks about number 2 for that on google.ca. A little bit different on google.com because we're targeting users in Canada. But the image on the right is just to show you that a website can rank for anything that you want it to. I put this test up and I just actually came across it the other day. I think I put it up a year and a half ago. I wanted to see which one of these pages was the most relevant. And so I put it on our funeral homes page, our delivery areas, our hospital page, and our sympathy page. And this text, JK, LV, MNFTX, is just random text and something that only dragonflyflowers.com ranks for in the entire world. In fact, it ranks for 4 pages because it's on those 4 pages. So that's kind of an example of why keywords are so important. Nobody else in the world ranks for this because they don't have it on their website. And this little test, I've numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, basically because I wanted to see exactly which page Google found the most relevant out of those 4 pages. And because it's put the funeral homes one at the top, I know exactly why that is. We've got a few different obituary pages and things linking to that page, but then we can see exactly how relevant the other pages are in Google's eyes by doing a test like this. Moving on from there, here's another example, and this is actually a fairly short tail keyword that's really interesting, and you can see that the terms aren't even in order. I've Googled Boston daffodil, and up comes send spring daffodils to Boston. And this is actually just a news item. This isn't a product page. This isn't anything like that. This is a email blast converted to a news item. So you don't see any other pages from these websites showing up in these searches, only pages that contain the keywords and the text, which is what Google's looking for. So moving quickly on to authority. Authority is not really highlighted greatly here. Because Google ties authority to quality so much. I like to break it out and talk about it separately. It is extremely important for ranking the website, and it's all about how many links are coming back into the website and who is linking to the website. That goes back to PageRank. If you've got high quality, high relevancy websites linking back to your website, those would be authoritative links. And with high PageRank, that can give your page a boost. And that authority is sort of like this. A web page with 200 links from other websites, 500 shares on social media, 300 local citations from directories. Local citations is something I'll talk about in another webinar, but you can see if they've got 10 times the good stuff going on, you're going to get a lot more traffic than a site that has a lot less. And the florist standing on the street there is melancholy because he hasn't thinks he should have blogged more to get more traffic. Anyway, moving on from there. So sort of to wrap this up a little bit for this part of the presentation, this is basically what Google believes. And they believe that you should use your target keywords and use those keywords to build quality, which also means unique web content, and the authority should come naturally. And they don't want someone like me to even be in business. They don't want SEOs running around doing things. They want to just find content naturally, and they want to rank that content based on what the general public believes. So, great. Now what? Well, we can look at this in a couple different ways. So there's two paths that we can take when it comes to SEO, particularly from a small business owner's perspective. And one of them leads to heartache and pain, and that's chasing and worrying about rankings, worrying about competitors, or even worrying about SEO at all. It's really not something that most small business owners, I know that my wife certainly doesn't want to worry about that. She wants to run her business and ship product and sell flowers. The one that leads to enlightenment is to basically take what I've just told you, all that different stuff, and stuff it in the back of your mind. And let's move on to some things that are kind of actionable in this regard and see where we can go. So here's the basic needs for SEO in 2013. Fresh content, conversion optimization, new inbound links, site design and architecture, and social media. So that fresh content is going to provide quality and keywords. Conversion optimization is guru stuff, best left to some of the experts, and I would hope that web providers are doing that for the websites. I know that most of the big guys will have done that on their sites, and a lot of the smaller guys are working on that as well. Authority driven from new inbound links, and authority driven from social media, as well as site design and architecture. And there's some of these things here that you can worry about for yourself, and some that you need to just assume is going on with your chosen web provider. And for site design and architecture and conversion optimization, there are certainly better ones than others. But let's look at what you can do about it. So we dropped the guru stuff, and what we're left with is fresh, unique content and social media. Those two things will drive getting new inbound links, which is going to drive your site authority and in turn help your keyword rankings. Let's talk about that a bit with regards to florists. Quality in keywords does not necessarily equal e-commerce. And what I'm kind of talking about here is if you look at all of these pages, I just randomly selected this from some people I know and or some people I don't know, or from just general Google searches. You step back from these, and when you can't really see the actual image itself, when it's kind of small like this, everybody looks pretty similar. And everybody's got them. Everybody's got a home page. Everybody's got a rose category page. Everybody's got a Mother's Day page. And you have to remember that you're trying to rank against millions of other sites that all say roses 16.7 times on their rose category page. So with e-commerce sites, it becomes really difficult to give Google that unique content that they're looking for. So let's look at what it looks like from Google's point of view. In this case, I just used Teleflora's main website as the guinea pig, I guess. On the left is what I saw when I went to the website, and on the right is what Google sees. So all those pretty images, those unique images, all those different things that are driving your business and making you unique to your customers is not necessarily making you very unique to the search engines. All Google sees is text. And this is pretty typical design for a website of any kind that does e-commerce. Is at the bottom we stuff all these different little keywords and have a pretty generic and boring text area. Google actually prefers to see text at the top of the page because they know that everyone is stuffing keywords and different things at the bottom of the page. They seem to know a lot. So how do we improve on this? This is a little bit better. So this is just a quick blog post. I think it's about 250 characters that I pulled off of our website. We were lucky enough to have a customer send us a photo of the flowers that we sent them because they were free. That helped. But it's an interesting and unique text area because we're talking about something specific to the flower shop, the city, and to the product itself. And what Google sees at the top of the page, which is where they like to see text, is interesting, unique text. Moving on from that, hopefully that blog post where that interesting and unique text is linking back to your website. In this case, we're looking at the home page in context. Google has a really good way of looking at not only how it's linked from the page, but the context that it's being used in, and if it's being used in correct grammar and all kinds of different things like that. It's amazing what they can actually figure out about a website. And they've done these things to eliminate spam and try and keep people from gaming the system. So this is better. We've got a blog post with unique content linking to the home page. What's even better now is getting even deeper with it. This is 2 blog posts that had to do with Christmas that are actually linking into the Christmas category page itself. So you can get deeper and deeper and deeper with this, and the deeper you go, the better things are going to be, and the more relevant Google will find those pages. And in this case, contextually, we've got Christmas, and that's linking to the Christmas page, now making that Christmas page quite a bit more relevant in the eyes of the search engine. So back to great. Now what? Well, here's where I would start. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, which is probably most of you, this is not a hard read, but it's Google's Search Engine Optimization Starter Guide. And Google does actually suggest that you do search engine optimization. They don't suggest that you do it in any way spammy, or they don't suggest that you go out and hire someone to get you a whole bunch of links back to your website or anything like that. But they do tell you how to do the basic on-page optimization, talk about creating content, what your website should be like, things like that. It's not a long guide. Something that is a good place to start, and any website owner should read it. It's not going to take you to a place where you can become an SEO expert or anything like that, but it's going to give you an idea of what someone like me does on a daily basis. The other thing is, if you're lucky enough, you can have you'll have an integrated blog or integrated news feed in your website, and these news feeds work wonders. They're in the back end of your blog, of your website anyways, and you're in there, you're getting your orders, you're doing all the different things that you do back there every day. It's really easy, and as easy as using Microsoft Word to go in and upload an image, write a little bit about it, and then post a news item. You can do it in as little as 3 minutes. And most of the ones for Dragonfly Flowers I've probably done in about anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes over time. So it's not something that does take a whole lot of time. But if you're not that lucky, I would suggest checking out WordPress.org, where you can actually go and get a blog platform for free. WordPress is, in my opinion, the #1 and most fantastic blog platform for search engine optimization. That's something that you may need help setting up, and you can find different places for that. I know that Brandon at Epic Flowers actually does custom designs on WordPress, and there's a lot of great tools in there that will help you get blogging right away. There's a lot of other ones. There is a few things that I don't suggest that you do, and it's about controlling your own destiny. Florist blogs, I was actually lucky enough, some of you may have seen this before, some of you may actually have blogs on here. I was fortunate enough actually today, Florist blogs is back up. So front page news, I highlighted it there. The last blog that was posted was 3/28/2012, so back in March. And the reason for that is that Florist blogs has been down for months and months and months, and it's been off and on and different things like that. While there's a lot of good SEO benefits from Florist blogs from this particular website, I felt extremely sorry for all the people who had spent a lot of time and created tons and tons of posts on this platform, because it had disappeared. It was gone, and all those links back to your website and all that, those different things that you've done on there, or they have done on there, just disappeared. So the best is to get something and control it yourself, and make sure that you've got control of it. It's similar with domain names. If a wire service currently owns your domain name, it's something everyone should check. Make sure that you own your own domain name and it's in your business name. And then the other thing I just wanted to touch on very quickly, I noticed that some of the people that had signed up for this webinar or the next one had blogs, and they were similar to yourshop.wordpress.com. And basically what that does for your website is very little. Unless that particular yourshop.wordpress blog becomes incredibly authoritative on the web, those links back to your website aren't going to do very much. You're better off having that content on your website in the form of yourblog.yourwebsite.com. That's certainly the way to go. So this is really just to kind of sum this up a little bit. It is a bit of a tug of war. It's a tug of war with your time and all the other things that you have to do, but it's also a tug of war with your competitors. And in order to gain those rankings and generate the sales from it, we all have to put a certain amount of time and effort into these marketing tactics. And case in point is this webinar series is free, but this is my content marketing strategy and the way I'm getting things up on my website for the next several months. By providing these, I get to blog about it, I get to meet new people, and all those sorts of things. So that's kind of the way I've decided to go about it. So hopefully you can make a determination as to what value more orders from your website is going to take, is going to be worth, and then move on from there. So at this point I wanted to just stop and see if there was any questions. If anybody's got questions, please email me or go ahead and feel free to type them in the chat area. Okay, I'm going to move on quickly then. Just want to let you know that next up, the next webinar is called Getting SEO Benefit from Your Florist Images on Facebook. You could be. And that's going to be next Wednesday, same time, basically the same place. And you can find that at the link below at dflocal.com. If you just go to dflocal, there's actually a category link up top. And that's it. Thank you very much for attending.